THESI, formazione ed addestramento in sicurezza marittima. Nell'industria dei trasporti marittimi le esigenze di formazione degli equipaggi sono sempre in costante aumento. THESI è impegnata nello sviluppo delle risorse umane e dei bisogni formativi. Grazie alle innovazioni tecnologiche, THESI ha promosso, sperimentato e consolidato servizi innovativi e sviluppo di attività di formazione a distanza. THESI ha definito moderni strumenti di formazione, in sede ed a distanza, con modelli standard e custom made. Il caso studio del progetto Angopi è stato approvato dal Ministero dei Trasporti e da Confitarma. 900 lavoratori di oltre 80 porti italiani sono addestrati ogni giorno grazie a queste moderne tecnologie. La formazione degli equipaggi è un reale requisito per gli uffici armatoriali e di manning nell'adeguamento alle norme STCV 95, ISM, ISPS e TMSA ed altri standard internazionali. Attenzione sempre maggiore è posta alla formazione del personale di bordo, per procedure aziendali standard, specifiche esigenze societarie. La grafica 3D ha dimostrato enorme efficacia per trasmettere facilmente corrette interpretazioni di norme e regolamenti. Inoltre, enfatizza e comunica con ulteriore efficacia conseguenze di errate procedure.
This video will focus on various aspects relating to the on-load release gear systems for lifeboats.
Altri filmati in 3 dimensioni facenti parte della nostra biblioteca 3D sono Collision and Oil Pollution Accident of Heavy Spirit, Explosion on Board della Chemical Tanker Laden, Collision and Propeller Fouling VLCC, Fatal Cost of Neglect and Negligence on Board Vessels.
By midnight of the 6th, the wind had picked up to force 7, crane barge being towed by 2 tugs at a distance of 2.5 miles on the starboard bow. 2 towing tugs appeared to have lost control of the crane barge, which started drifting onto the vessel's bows from a distance of about 2 cables from the port bow of Heavy Spirit. Damaged the structures on the foredeck. The port bow of the crane barge came into hard contact with the hull of the vessel on the port side as it drifted down from the forward end to the aft of the vessel. A section of the spreader from the crane hooks fell down onto the deck of the vessel. The cargo tanks 1 port, 3 port and 5 port were punctured due to the collision, and the cargo of crude oil started spilling into the sea from the damaged areas. Due to the high vapor pressure of the cargo and record of venting of the vapor of cargo during voyage, this vapor may have also leaked past the valves and found its way into the dehumidifier room. As the anchor cable was coming up, an explosion occurred. To escape the fire, he leaped over the bulwark into the water below. Smoke started bellowing out of the vents of the bosun's stall. 2 teams approached the forecastle deck.
This is Captain of... We have had an explosion in the forward area.
The vessel suffered following casualty. The 3rd officer suffered injury. The DH room was fully destroyed, with all equipment and fittings in the room needing replacement. On the forecastle deck, needed to be cropped and renewed. The ship's side sections needed to be replaced. The master did not report the rest hours exceptions, as required by company procedures. The pilot could not disembark on the first attempt at 13:40 hours off Dabanbian Dao Island. The southerly stream caught the vessel broad on, causing a rapid bodily drift of the vessel onto another anchored-laden tanker, MT Victim. The vessel, in way of her port side, numbers 4 and 5 water ballast tanks, collided with port bow of MT Victim. The anchor cable of MT Victim became entangled with the propeller shaft of MT Accident, and this caused the starboard anchor to break away from the bitter end of MT Victim. The collision and subsequent grounding incident of the laden VLCC led to heavy financial losses, and also posed a grave threat to the environment. Several attempts were made to tow the vessel to deeper water, with the assistance of 4 harbour tugs. The starboard anchor could not be released from the bitter end due to very high tension on same. Attempt was made to carry out an underwater inspection to determine the obstruction preventing the vessel from being pulled out of the shallow waters.
Il programma SIRE di ispezione alla sicurezza delle navi è una iniziativa della OCIMF. Esso affronta le problematiche delle navi con standard inferiori a quelli previsti nello shipping. Tra i nostri titoli video tridimensionali abbiamo Bridge Vetting, Safety Management volume 1, 2 e 3 e il Mooring. SIRE è uno strumento di valutazione del rischio utile per i noleggiatori, operatori marittimi, terminalisti ed enti governativi che si occupano della sicurezza a bordo della nave.
The entrance to the foam or CO2 room were locked in port, which is incorrect. Protective goggles not being used when working on a grinder or similar equipment. The emergency escape shaft and engine room was poorly lit, or the entrance was not kept clear. Continued volume 2 of 3. There was no safety curtain provided around the welding bay inside the engine room workshop. The standing ends of the lifeboat falls were secured by 2 bulldog clips, as against the desired use of crimped securing arrangements. The bridge wing lifebuoys had smoke floats that were fitted in a metal box with clasp that could not be easily opened and would not operate as required if the lifebuoys were released. The isolating valves on this line were frozen and not able to be operated easily. Welcome to Volume 3 of 3 video on safety management. The ventilator duct was located on top of the room as against requirement to have same at the lower level due to CO2 gas being heavier than air. The fire extinguishers were secured using rope or other bands, which would not allow the rapid deployment of the fire extinguisher. The objective is to calculate the pressure that will be built up using the hydraulic jack, and then to adjust the setting of the brakes to render at that pressure.